Located in the southeast corner of rural Fairfield County, the village of Sugar Grove is home to 440 residents, 0 traffic lights, and Berne Union local schools. Serving the village of Sugar Grove and surrounding Berne Township, Berne Union Local was formed in 1930 and currently serves about 900 students K through 12, placing it in the lower 20th percentile of Ohio schools in terms of size. Berne Union has been rated as an effective or excellent school district every year since Ohio began issuing district grade cards in 2005. Since the school was first founded, the band program has enjoyed strong support from the Sugar Grove community. The band has a rich history of success and has earned accolades that far exceed what is typical for a high school with less than 300 students. Like many schools this size, Berne Union only has one full-time instrumental music teacher. There have been 33 band directors in the 80-year history of Berne Union. J.D. Latour took over the program in 1996. Now in his 15th year at Berne Union, Latour has enjoyed the longest tenure by far of any Berne Union director. Although not always the most visible part of the program, concert ensembles form the core of the Berne Union Band program.
I've always felt that great concert ensembles are the key to having a solid band program because that's where the most student learning takes place, in those concert bands. And that foundation will in turn give you a solid marching band program. We even had this painted on the wall outside the band room.
Band begins in 5th grade at Berne Union, where students meet twice a week with Mr. Latour in groups of similar instruments.
Whoa, that was scary bad. Here we go, try it again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Once in 6th grade, students meet every day in full band. 7th and 8th grade musicians meet every day in a combined band. The Berne Union Wind Ensemble is the premier performance ensemble at Berne Union. Composed of high school musicians and select junior high students, the ensemble rehearses every day throughout the school year, including during marching band season.
I think the thing I'm most proud of in my time here at Berne Union is the high performance level of the wind ensemble. We're playing music that would be considered ambitious for any high school band program, but it's especially impressive, I think, when you consider how tiny our school is. And consider the fact that the ensemble typically is very small, between 35 and 40 wind players, which makes everything a little more challenging as well.
The ensemble has traveled extensively during Latour's time at Berne Union. The band has attended festivals in Toronto 3 times, traveled twice to both St. Louis and Virginia Beach, and performed at the Smoky Mountain Music Festival in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Ensemble was honored with an invitation in 2004 to perform at a joint concert at the University of Dayton with the UD Symphonic Wind Ensemble. The band most recently traveled to St. Louis in the spring of 2010 and placed first out of the 23 ensembles at the festival with a score of 98 from both adjudicators. Berne Union Marching Band is a corps-style competition band and is the largest extracurricular activity at Berne Union. The band was formed in the early 1950s, and although the style of the band has changed over time, the band's tradition of excellence has remained constant. Although Berne Union's enrollment places the band in the Ohio Music Education Association C Division, the band currently competes in Class A and AA. The band normally numbers between 60 and 70 members, and unlike most competitive marching bands, Berne Union includes students in grades 7 through 12, and most years marches 20 or more junior high students.
Having junior high students involved so heavily in the marching band program is something that sets us apart here at Berne Union. Makes us kind of unique, I think. While it's not uncommon in the state of Ohio for a small school to march select groups of 8th graders or something like that, it's pretty rare for a competition band, and especially one competing in the classes we are, to include any 7th and 8th grader who wants to participate, and that's how we do it, and that's how we've always done it here. We don't really water down the show for those guys either. We're still marching 90-plus pages of drill most years, playing some pretty challenging literature. It requires a different educational approach on the part of the staff, but it also requires a more nuanced skill set, I think, on the part of our student leaders to pull it off effectively.
The band takes pride in the fact that all elements of show design are produced in-house. Guard instructor and BU alum Jody Mata is responsible for developing all flag and weapon routines, and percussion instructors John Rundag and Jared Hunter provide the percussion arrangements. Director J.D. Latour arranges all the wind parts and writes the visual book. Since 1996, the marching band has earned 10 Grand Champion Awards, 23 Reserve Grand Champion Awards, 53 First in Class, 27 Second in Class, and 35 Best Auxiliary and 28 Best Percussion Awards. The band has earned 12 superior ratings at OMEA State Marching Band Finals. In the 2003-2004 school year, the Berne Union Music Department began offering a year-long audio technology course, giving students an opportunity to learn hands-on about digital recording. Beginning in 2005, a second course was offered every year that allowed students to further advance their skills.
The audio technology courses started as an outgrowth of our yearly CD project. I soon realized that we could take that equipment and that technology that we already had and put it to use in a daily classroom environment.
Students in both audio courses become very proficient with Avid's Pro Tools, the industry standard audio software. Beginning with simple editing sessions, students build their skills and eventually move on to larger projects like producing radio commercials and mixing large multi-track sessions.
I think one of the coolest things we do in the audio technology classes is audio post-production for film. Basically, we take a 3 or 4 minute movie scene and recreate all the audio, all the dialogue, all the sound effects, everything but the musical score. So we record the sound effects here in class, and then after that's all done, we go into the lab where they edit and they mix and they sync those sound effects to the film.
Can't hold them. The city is lost.
And the results are usually pretty impressive, especially considering we're comparing it against the original, and those guys have a budget of millions of dollars, and of course we have a budget of zero.
The band program uses the same equipment to record the performing ensembles and produces a CD every year.
To make the CD, we have 4 or 5 recording sessions a year to cover our primary ensemble, wind ensemble, jazz band, and marching band. In the case of the wind ensemble, the recording session is pretty straightforward. We just have 2 microphones. But in the case of jazz band and particularly marching band, it's quite a bit more involved. With the marching band, we put the wind section and the pit percussion on stage in the auditorium, and we place the battery percussion down the hall so they're acoustically isolated from the microphones recording the wind section. Of course, then we've got to send a headphone mix to those battery percussion members. We also have to send a live video feed to the field commander to that room. It's by far the most technically challenging session that we do all year.
So, in a case where you have background vocals, you can...
Since the audio technology classes were first offered, 7 Berne Union graduates have gone on to study audio engineering after high school.
It really is a great experience to run a band program with as much tradition as Berne Union has. To have kids in your ensembles and know that their parents participated in the same band program is really cool. To think of the history that's involved here and how long the band program's been around. But to also think of the flip side of that, that the band program's always going to be here, and there will always be students and directors putting on great performances for this community.
Berne Union Bands, a tradition of excellence.